you to stand up. We're not doing exercise, I promise. Just kidding. I want you to stand up, and I want you to find somebody that you don't know, preferably not in your pew. Preferably you get out of the pew you're in, and say hello and introduce yourself. Okay? We're going to take just a couple quick minutes. All right. That was fun. All right. Thank you for cooperating. Now, wasn't that fun? Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. And again, I hope you guys got enough to eat. I know I did. So we'll just get started here now. I want to say first and foremost, I do not know how God has brought me here today. I was the shyest kid ever. And if you know me, you know I am not shy now. But I was the shyest kid ever when I was there. And here I am now standing in front of you to talk about something that is near and dear to me. God is amazing, and the journey he takes us on is also amazing. I will say that from the moment that I decided that I would be the one to talk to you tonight, to the topic that I decided on, the Lord has shown me in more ways than one that it is exactly what I am supposed to share with you tonight. And it's so funny. I tell Scott all the time, it's funny how God works like that. But that's exactly what he has done on more than one occasion. So it was kind of hard to put all this together because so many things came to my mind. But the topic is so important, and it is about relationships. Connecting with people, investing in people, investing in humans. Sometimes that is hard for us for a lot of different reasons, but it is essential in our lives. Relationships are on my heart all of the time. But it became even deeper in February when I got a phone call that my uncle passed away in his sleep. Now, this is from several years ago, definitely pre-COVID. We are at our 4th of July picnic here. And in February, I got a phone call from my aunt that told me that Uncle Leonard had passed away in his sleep, just gone. It's not the first person that I have lost suddenly in my life. May not be the last, but it has affected me in so many ways that I did not even realize that it would. The urgency to make the most of spending time with people I love became even greater. Soon after Uncle Leonard, a friend of mine lost her husband. Again, pretty unexpectedly. Although he had been ill, it was still unexpected. Too often, we think we have all the time in the world, when in reality, we do not. We forget that life is short, and we forget that we have to make the most of the time that we have together. Because it's not up to us when our time ends, right? It's not up to us. And for some reason, one of the first things we put off is getting together with or talking with our friends and family because we have other things to do. Don't get me wrong, we have things that we have to do and cannot put off. We have to work, we have appointments, we have obligations that we have to do. But sometimes we can schedule ourselves to the brink of overload with stuff that just doesn't matter. We live in a very broken world, and people are always looking for something positive to hang on to. Well, God is always here for us, always. In James 2:23, he says, "And the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called God's friend." John 15:15 says, "I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you." God is our friend. He is our friend for life if we let him be. But he also gives us relationships with each other, because that is what he made us for. That's why he had to give Adam a helpmate, because he did not want man to be alone. So he created Eve, and with that he created humanity. We were never meant to be an island and do life on our own, ever. First, we look to him to guide us through the ups and downs that we walk through. And second, he knows exactly who we need in our life to help us along the way. Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 and 10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up." And Galatians 6:2, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." We were meant for relationship. And as women, there is nothing, we have spouses, we have children, we have other family members, but there is nothing more valuable, I don't think, than girlfriends. Because we stick together. It's just amazing. But what does relationship mean? First, we have to define relationship, right? Relationship is simple. It's connection to others, whether it's family, spouse, friend, coworker, or someone else. It is connection, and it is often an emotional connection. Tonight, I'm going to focus on friendship. We all have friends. Some more than others, some for many years, some are just beginning. There are different levels of friendship. First, there's the acquaintance. Now, the acquaintance is a person known to you, but they're usually not a close friend. Maybe a coworker, a friend of a friend that you met at an event like this. You're just casually familiar with someone or something. So usually these are people we know but don't really get personal or intimate with. We probably hang out with them on occasion, maybe have a good time and do our own thing. A couple of examples would be a coworker, and I love this one, Facebook friends. Just a note about Facebook friends. Do you know there are people out there that have over 1,000 Facebook friends? And I am not talking about celebrities that everybody follows because they want to know what Taylor Swift is doing tomorrow. Is she going to the game or not? With Travis Kelce. I am talking about regular, everyday, common people like you and me who have over 1,000 friends on Facebook. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't care how popular I might be. I'm not going to know 1,000 people that I'm going to accept a Facebook friend request from. Just not going to happen. So that means that they accept friend requests from just about anybody, but they don't really know them. But I don't think Facebook could have said, oh, we're going to have Facebook acquaintances, because that gives it a whole different meaning, right? Because friends means something, right? Or at least it should. But that to me, it can be a very basic level of friendship. Now, when you accept a Facebook request from somebody that truly is a very good friend, that's a whole different story. But I've had people friend request me, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And they just saw me because of another friend. And it's like, I don't do that. My dad always said to me and my siblings, in this life you will have many acquaintances, but you will have very few friends. And I think that every one of us could probably attest to that. A friend is a person attached to another by feelings of affection or personal regard. But even at that, there are different levels of friendship, right? Some friends are the friends you like to hang out with, to have a good time, and just chill. You can have a good conversation and celebrate life events together and call it a day. Then you have friends you can do the above with and get a little more personal, share a little bit more about your life, but still stop short on what you share with each other. Then you have the ultimate, what I call the ultimate level of friendship, your ride and dies. Now, I didn't hear this term until, I don't know, last few years. The true meaning of ride and die, I had to look this up because I'm like, what does that really mean? Well, that's what it means. That your friends will be there for you no matter what. Your ride and dies, your besties, the ones that are there for you no matter what, through the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful. You don't judge each other. You love each other through all of the stuff life throws at you. And you have a level of honesty that is more than you ever thought possible because you trust those people unequivocally. If we have one friend like this, we are fortunate. If you have two friends like this, you are incredibly blessed because it's rare. Especially today, it is so rare because trust is such a big issue today, especially with social media. Are you going to share this? Are you going to tell this person this? Because sometimes people will just put anything out there. So if I tell Susie about this thing that really bothers me, am I going to be the subject of something the next day? It's rare. God is definitely a ride and die friend. Let's go back to John 15:15. I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. Life can get so crazy, and we lose sight of our time with God. Our ride and die friend that no matter what, even if we shy away from him, if we forget about him, he does not forget about us. He waits for us to come back to him. But we can lose sight of him in the fullness of our day, in the crazy of our day, because we have to do A through Z, and we have to get it done today, because if we don't get it done today, then we're going to be behind because we have to do what tomorrow is, because everybody expects everything from us. So we kind of push God back in the corner sometimes. But then there's other times life just gets crazy, it gets busy, or people around us are hectic and nutty and cranky. I'm sure you never have cranky people at work. Yeah. I do. Sometimes I'm that cranky person. But I love what someone said recently. When people seem to be in a hurry or cranky or busy, I find that I need to just step away, stop, and sit with him. We need to, in the chaos, just stop to sit with God and let ourselves rest and relax with him. We need to sit in that very special relationship and remember who he created us to be and how much he loves us and the friend that he is to us. It's the same way with our friends here. Sometimes we need that time with a cup of coffee, 2 hours at Cracker Barrel or more, a long phone conversation. We need that connection. And when we don't get it, whether it's God or our friends, we miss out. We cannot take our friendships or God for granted. When we spend time with people, it grows our friendship. And before we know it, acquaintances can become our ride and die friends. You don't meet somebody one day, and the very next day, they're your best friend for life. Now, we are at a grocery store, at the checkout, in the aisle looking for something. I start talking to people. I just talk to people. And Scott will look at me after the fact, well, are you and your new BFF going to lunch tomorrow? No, they're not my new BFF. I just talk to people. Say hello to people. Have a conversation. It does not have to be about your life. It's just, hey, how you doing? Or to a cashier that's having a cruddy day. Hey, can I pray for you? Or I hope your day gets better. Something like that. What kind of world do you think it would be if instead of complaining about what that person did, you maybe just said, I hope your day gets better. Or just, I'll pray for you. Or, hello. What kind of world do you think it would be? I don't think we'd be as angry. We're so quick to get upset with everybody and all this stuff because we're somehow in our head we think, well, they're this or that or the other. And what I have found in my experience is when we talk to people, they're just like me. We're all just trying to get through life in this world, and some of us have it harder than others. And you never know when you say hello to that person, you don't know where it's going to take you. You have no idea who God's going to place in your life. And you never know if you're going to gain a friend or not. I mean, it's not going to happen all the time, and it's not going to be that they're going to be your best friend ever, but you might meet somebody that you can connect with. Or you come to an event like this and you find out, oh, you used to live here, I used to live there, and you find out there's a connection. You just never know. How many of you, by a raise of hands, had a best friend as a child? How many people? Okay, me too. How many of you have that same best friend today? So blessed. So blessed. Yeah. How many of you have a different best friend today as an adult? Okay. Because we have friendships sometimes that last forever and sometimes they last for a season. Because God maybe put that person in our life for a season and then things change and it changes over and people go their separate ways. It doesn't mean that we don't like each other anymore. It doesn't mean that we never talk anymore. It just means that that season of closeness maybe ended because another one ended. Or another one began, sorry. I had to laugh when I wrote this because it feels so high school to say best friend. Because in junior high and high school, I remember so much of the time that girls usually had one best friend. And it could change on a daily or hourly basis, depending on what's going on, right? It's like, well, you were my best friend yesterday, but now today I'm Karen's best friend. And I can't be your best friend and Karen's best friend. I can only have one. Why we think that, I don't know. But I had to laugh when I wrote that. When I wrote that, thought that. I, as an adult, don't have one best friend, but I have a few wonderful, dear friends that I can share my life with, like an open book. There aren't many, but what they bring to my life is more than I can put into words. And just knowing that they are a text or a phone call away, or even a dinner together, it is a huge comfort. I look forward to my girl time. I need it sometimes so much that it just nags at me until I get it. And a lot of times if I know I'm going to meet a girlfriend for dinner or call on the phone that night or whatever, or we're going to go do something, I'm very excited and look very forward to it because it's important to me. So I go back to how we meet people. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to go to a friend's Women's Day at her church to hear her speak. I met Jen through our online Facebook group. And I didn't know Jen, never met her before, never saw her before. We started out, we would comment on each other's posts, encouraging each other about our journey. And then we started private messaging each other. And over time, we became more invested in each other, a little bit deeper than just the occasional hello. Now, I don't hold this against her, but she lives in that state up north. But when she posted about her ladies' day at church, I felt God telling me I needed to go. It's about a 3-hour drive to get there. I then remembered that my high school bestie lives in Indiana. So when I mentioned to Sherry, about coming out, she said, it's about 3 hours away from where you will be. I said, it's worth it. So Scott and I got in the car, made the drive, and met with Jen for the first time in person. And then I reconnected with Sherry in person. Now, I love the sign in the middle of us where it says, "Welcome, friends, how you doing?" If you watch Friends, you know what that means. I love that show. So when we got to the restaurant and that was on the door, I'm like, this is absolutely perfect. Full disclosure, I did live in that state up north for about 3 years. I know, not my fault. Parents, I don't know. But here we were at dinner, and we spent 3 hours at dinner. And then here was breakfast. She wore her shirt. I wore my brown shirt. And that was another 3 hours. She told her son that they would be back in an hour on Sunday morning from breakfast. And even her son said, yeah, right. He was at dinner with us the night before, so he kind of knew that. But we got to have that time together. And those 6 hours or so, those 360 minutes of time that I will treasure and never forget, was worth the 10 hours in the car between Friday night and Sunday. It was worth every single second. I would do it again in a heartbeat because I got to see two people that I don't get to see every day. A couple months later, Jen and I went one step further, got to meet up one weekend about halfway in between where we both live in Ohio, for a girls' overnight trip, which gave us another opportunity to invest in each other and our relationship, talk about life, and have some fun. We share the love of Jesus. We have been able to grow and trust each other to talk about the hard personal things of life. She's had a rough life. I've had rough things. It's been a huge blessing. Today, because we do live 3 hours apart, we do use technology to keep in touch through video messages. Because of that, the physical distance does not keep us out of touch. It makes me wish we lived closer, but she can't move here, and I am not moving to that state up north. So for now, we will just video message. I asked her, I said, hey, you can move. Yeah, her husband, I guess, wasn't having it. I don't know. Had we not started reaching out, it was an acquaintance, and it has grown into a friendship. And it's been a matter of a couple of years. It gradually grew. But the ride and dies. I'm going to go back to the ride and dies, ladies, because I think that those people are the most important people in our lives, because when we go through rough, hard things, those are the people that are there for us. And I'm talking about girlfriends. Our families can be there for us, other people, but we have our friends, because sometimes sometimes when you're a kid, you just want your mom. When you're an adult woman, sometimes you just need your girlfriend. You just want to talk to your girlfriend. No offense, but Scott's not going to cut it some nights. He understands that. I'm going to talk about 2. Now, there are others, but I have 2. Ride and dies. I asked for permission to show photos. I'm just putting it out there. Sharon. I have known Sharon for 33 years. These are at all different stages of time together. Shenanigans, adventures. We met when I started going to West Akron Church of Christ, now called Summit Christian Church. We have been through just about everything you can imagine together. We have laughed, cried, walked through some very hard stuff, and have gone on some wonderful adventures. I would not trade our friendship for anything. She's there for me, I'm there for her. We don't always agree on things, but we talk, we discuss. We have different likes, dislikes. I want her to go ride roller coasters. She wants to stay on the ground. I don't get it, but okay. But we have commonalities, and we are there for each other. And it's funny because if you look at it, if I look at our history and our timeline, when she's having a rough time, I'm up here, and I can help her. When I'm having a rough time, she's up here, and she can help me. Ride and die. I have known Jody for 8 years. Now, Jody also started out as an acquaintance. I worked with her husband, Bill, for a few years. We became friends through her home business, actually. She sells jewelry. She does live shows on Facebook, and that's actually how we started to become closer friends. I caught her one day doing a live, and I'm sharing this because this is what gets me. When Jody gets on, the first thing she'll say on her live is she'll give all of her introductory information, who she is, what she does. She talks about the group as a group of women who enjoy watching the lives together, developing friendships, and praying for each other. She calls us her Blissful Bling Gals because she has named her boutique Blissful Bling Boutique. Say that 3 times fast. We have become a group that cares about each other, and we welcome new people all the time. But what she says hits home, and it's true to who she is. It's not about the jewelry, it's about the friendships. And that is where we became friends. I started watching, and this was after Bill had left where I work. And we became friends. We would start chat. I would comment on posts, and then we started chatting outside of that, and before you knew it, we became closer friends. Both of these ladies are genuine, caring people, and I am honored to not only have met them, but to be able to walk beside them in true friendship. And Jody has gone through very hard things lately, and I am thankful that I am there for her. But when I've gone through hard things, she's been there for me. We look out for each other. So same thing, ride and die. So how do we do it? How do we start to grow and maintain relationships and friendships? As I said, it starts with hello, a conversation, small talk, whatever you want to call it. We never know where it'll take us. It may not grow into anything. It may grow into something beautiful that you never even thought would happen. How do we do it? We're present. We're a good listener. We're trustworthy. We're honest. We're transparent. Nobody likes fake. Nobody likes fake, and they can detect it. You can detect fake so much of the time a mile away. Send a text or a card to just let someone know you're thinking of her. You know, a lot of people want to say, oh, social media, it drives me nuts, it's awful, and all these things. But it's a very quick, easy way, if it's used correctly, to stay in touch with somebody. Because when I get up in the morning, I don't have time to call anybody. I'm getting ready for work. They're getting ready for work. But I can send a text, say, hey, are you okay? How you doing? Have a great day. And there have been mornings when I've probably sent like 10 of those texts. Other mornings I maybe send 2. People come to mind. It's a very easy, efficient way to say hello. Hey, I see you and you're important to me. When's the last time you did that? Or when's the last time you heard from somebody like that? This is the big one right here. Stop saying we need to get together or let's get together soon. Tell me what that accomplishes. How many times have we said it? Seriously, how many times have we said it? You're laughing because we just did it. We did. Me and Nancy have had this conversation 1,000 times. And you know where it's gotten us? Nowhere. Put it on the calendar. Make an appointment with your friend. You can make appointments you make doctor's appointments. Why? You have to go to the doctor. You make appointments for work meetings. Why? Well, I have to go to a meeting. You make appointments for this. Why? Because I have to do this at church. You do this. I've got this. I've got to go to the store. Make appointments with your friends. They're important too. Are they not? We don't have all the time in the world because we don't know when. And I am so tired of that. I don't want to live with regret. I don't want to say, oh, I wish I would have. I want you to know today that I care. I want you to know today, I love you. And there are a lot of you in this group tonight that I can say that to, and that I mean it, but I don't see you all the time. Be available. Pick up the phone. While I say yes to social media and texting, I also say yes to face-to-face. Because we've lost the face-to-face. I was doing my lesson for my Bible study this past Monday. I was getting ready for it. And one of the verses in the Digging Deeper section, it hit home for me. 2 John verse 12, I have much to write to you, but I do not want to use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to visit you and talk with you face to face, so that your joy may be complete. We have to do that. So I encourage you tonight to pick up the phone, or the next time somebody calls you or even messages you and says, hey, let's go to dinner, make the appointment. Don't say, well, I don't know. And then it never gets brought up again. And don't wait for another person to necessarily do it. If it's important enough, you're going to do it. It's plain and simple. It really is simple. Pick up the phone and talk to the person or text them, hey, I'm available these days. When can you come? And I don't care if you go for a walk in the park. You don't have to go out to eat and spend money. You don't have to do anything extravagant. Go for a walk in the park. Go for a cup of coffee. Come to each other's homes. Spend time together. I wish I would have done that more with my uncle. I have not shared this with anybody. But this is where the rubber met the road for me. I kept thinking, I need to have dinner with my aunts and uncles. Just them and me. I usually get together with my aunts, girls' day. I need to get Uncle Leonard, Aunt Eileen, and Aunt Gloria together and just have dinner with them, lunch with them, whatever. My chance is gone because he's not here. I don't want that to happen again. I want no regrets. I'm an 80s girl. So as we close, and have that piece of paper with you, jot down some thoughts, notes, whatever, maybe a person you need to contact. I just want you to sit in the quiet, just listen to the song. But in the 80s, get this right, I don't know what year, I didn't look it up, but I don't care. When we moved from that state up north to Texas, when I was a junior in high school, it was the day after my junior year of high school, my bestie, Sherry, she made a tape cassette for me that I have, but I can't play anymore. I gotta find a tape recorder. But she made a tape cassette for me with different things about our friendship, and it means the world to me. But the song, one of the songs she put on there, it spoke everything that friendship meant to me. And in the 80s, Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight, Dionne Warwick, and Elton John. One of the best songs, in my opinion, ever. And when I was writing this up and I played the song, I was in tears. If you really listen to the words. We're going to close with That's What Friends Are For. Just think about that. I thank you.